All right, so this is round four. This is probably going to be my favorite game to show. It was not my favorite game to play by any stretch of the imagination, but I am going to enjoy showing it. Um, so we have the white pieces. We're playing a 1900, and I played d4. So we get a Queen's Gambit declined and c5 here, which is like a Tarrasch. Um, Now I just for whatever reason didn't have this line prepared. My white repertoire is not like very concrete. There's like with white I consider there to be like a lot of flexibility, but really this is something that I should have something against. Probably in future games I'd play like e3 or some more simple move. But I was trying to play in like the most concretely best. I was trying to just play, the best moves. And so what it felt like the best move to me was c takes d5. It felt like the most testing move. And I thought, if he takes, then I'll get some isolated queen pawn position that I can play against. And if he takes on d4, sort of understood this idea of like playing queen a4 check and then queen takes d4 and like I'd seen that in a different sort of line and it felt like, well, that lets me play against the isolated D pawn. Probably he'll have to defend it, and then I'll get very active play quickly. But I don't know. To go for a line like that in a position where I'm at a book on move three, probably not the best idea. So what happens is I take it. He goes for this line, like the sharp line. I play queen a4, bishop d7. I take it, and he takes it, and I'm looking at it like, okay, pawn, right? Like it's a pawn right there. But the lines that I started looking at after taking it, knight c6, I developed my knight f6, queen d1. I was getting so scared of like some combination of like queen coming out to a5, knight b4, bishop f5. Like I was just seeing so many ghosts, and I knew that this was like theory. My opponent knew it. I was just sort of looking at it for the first time, and I got scared. And I just played knight f3, knight c6, giving me one more chance to take the pawn. I just play queen d1. So basically, what this means is instead of being in a sharp line where my opponent knows and I don't know, uh, where maybe I'm a pawn, I am in a position which neither I nor my opponent know, and I'm in a just bad position. I mean, it's just like probably two tempi down in an isolated queen's pawn position, like extremely good isolated queen's pawn position for black. Um, and yeah, it's just at least my opponent doesn't know it is sort of what I was thinking in the game. Like he's probably never seen someone go for this very sharp line and not take the pawn. So that was all I really had. Knight f6, e3. Bishop b4 felt like kind of a weird move because this dark square bishop, like, he's never going to want to take the knight. He's going to want to use it to attack me once I castle. Um, so that was a little strange, but I didn't think it was terrible. Like, it felt like a little bit inaccurate, but it didn't feel like I was, like, much better because of it. I just played bishop d2, developing, getting out of the pin, castle, bishop e2. I'm just trying to, develop my pieces in castle before it's game over. Queen e7 felt like a strange move to me. Like it's probably a fine move, but it's strange. A castle. And rook f d8 was another like, okay, you're not playing bad moves, but you're playing really weird moves. Like bishop b4, castle, or castle is fine, but bishop b4, queen e7, rook f d8, like just strange moves that I but not bad moves, like they're not like bad blunderous moves. They're just strange. But anyway, now I play knight b5. Really, I am a little bit worried about bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, knight e4, but I'm sort of hoping that because I'm worried about it, he's going to do it because while it might be better for black and it might be like, fine. If I can just trade the dark squared bishops, I'm much less worried about getting mated on the king side. He plays bishop c5, which I think is probably a more accurate move. I bring my knight to d4, and knight e4, also I think a very good move. Now I play a3, which might be very slow. That's sometimes I want to be able to play b4, b5 to dislodge the black pieces, but it is pretty slow. And after his move, prophylactic move against b4, bishop d6, um, there's a serious king's head attack coming, and I'm already very terrified about these g5, g4 pawn pushes. I uh, am scared, if I ever take on c6, he'll just take with the b pawn, and if I put the next knight on d4, he'll just kick it away with c5. It's scary, and my instinct was that g3 is not a move I want to play. But my instinct is also, if I don't play g3, then I might not even have a chance to live another 5 moves. So in the end, I sort of played g3 and closed my eyes. I would not be surprised if g3 is just a very bad move, maybe even a losing move. But I was just getting very scared about what could happen to me if I don't do that. Like, uh, I'm not really worried about 95 trading pieces, but at the same time, I am a little bit worried about it. But the main thing I'm worried about is just like, what do I do on g5, g4? Maybe I should play like b4, b5, but it might be like b4 is like the only move that makes white like not worse, or something like that. That's sort of how I was. I was looking at the position like probably g3 is like up there with like the moves that exist. It's probably not the best move, but the difference between like the best move and like g3 is probably like significant. But I couldn't really figure out what the best move is. Maybe it's b4, maybe it's like rook c1, maybe it's bishop e1, and it just felt like the margin for like the how bad those different moves could be was not worth like sitting here and spending all my time, and just when I could just play g3, and then it's like, okay, I only have to look at like one type of position now, and only one thing I need to be worried about, which is like this f2 pawn, which I saw after g3, bishop h3, rook e1, queen f6. That's like the main line, which is what happens in the game, right? And so now this f2 pawn is problematic, because if I move the knight, it's just mate, and I can't like play bishop f1, because then bishop g4, and it feels like if I play bishop g2 there, then there's knight g5, and I'm just gonna like get there's too many things pinning, attacking, and I'm just gonna lose. So it's not clear that I can live here, but I saw one plan, and I was hoping that that plan was going to work. Probably g3 is just not a move that I should play, though, and I would not, we'll look with the computer at the end of the game, but I would not be surprised if it's just like a bad, very bad move. So bishop c3 I play here, and he played knight e5, which I think is the best move. Originally he was hovering his hand over the queen, but I don't think any of these queen moves are better than knight e5. I think knight e5 is the right move. Now I get knight b5, bishop b8, maintaining pressure and the bishop. And then this was the maneuver, right? So bishop is now on d4, then knight can come back to c3. Now here, he plays g5, which is the move I was worried about. It might not be the best move, but it was the move I was worried about. And now I close my eyes and play knight c3, because there is a lot that can happen to me. Knight takes f2 is a move. King takes g4 is possible. Um, there's just a lot of moves that could theoretically become problematic, but if none of them are problematic, then I'm about to trade off this knight on e4, which would be very nice for me. In the game, this move. Now, looking at this position, I don't know why I played my next move. It sort of makes sense, but why not just play knight takes e4, and if pawn takes, then I'll play knight takes e5. Why not that? I guess it would kind of, after bishop takes, it would kind of transpose to what happens in the game. In the game, I play this move. Takes, 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 knight d4. And basically what happens here is I lose a pawn, and it's bad. But let me just look at something really quick. What if I play this move? If queen takes, then... Oh, maybe queen takes is an issue. No, queen takes... Do I have something? Do I have bishop takes e5 there? Do I have this? If queen takes, do I have this and this? Do I have this? This looks pretty good. This looks like I win a piece. Queen g4, only square for the queen. Knight takes bishop. So that would be pretty good. So actually, queen takes is just terrible. So pawn takes, which is sort of what I would have expected it being better anyway. Takes, takes. And probably I'm losing this pawn anyway. Like, I don't know, I play some move, maybe this move though. Maybe I don't have to lose a pawn. Maybe this is, takes, takes, and I don't actually lose the pawn here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is also bad for me, but maybe I should have just done that. I don't know. Maybe actually, is there this move? Is there this move? Takes, takes, takes. Bishop g2 though. What am I worried about? So yeah, maybe here I should not have. I don't know why. I was just so desperate to get pieces off, and I saw that like if I play knight takes, pawn takes, I can't take on e5 because it's pinned to my queen. So I saw if I do it this way first, then I can trade all the pieces. But why do I want to trade this bishop? This bishop is actually like my best piece. Okay, so in the game this happens, and we get this position with queen f6 where I just lose d4 pawn. So probably this is worse than what I could have had the other way. I play bishop f1, takes, takes. I looked at bishop g4 here also, but bishop g4 I didn't like. Um, bishop g4 I didn't like. Takes, 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 and rook takes. And now there's e3 coming. And if I play... Wait, is this it? What was I worried about? Maybe... Oh, no, I was worried about this move. This move I was worried about. The other one I was fine. This one I'm worried about, though, because if I take here, then there's this move. And here, I'm already down a pawn, and also I'm going to lose that pawn, and I guess I could take him... And my queen's attacked, actually, so it's just lost. So yeah, I play bishop f1. Takes, I play take with the king, because I want to be able to, after this move, keep my rook on the file. Takes, queen e2, rook d8, queen e3, 2, rook e2. Rook back to d4, probably not the most accurate move. Rook to e1, h6, just solidifying this pawn. That's really the only thing I was playing against at this point was like the g pawn was not the most defended. It was a little bit overextended. Queen c3, queen f5, rook e3. And now after rook e2, he's threatening mate, and I play this move. Now there might be the move queen b5. And I was worried about this in the game. I didn't quite see how it was winning, but it feels like there might be some issues here because the threat is to take it and play check, and then queen takes rook would win. So I would have to fix that, and I wasn't totally sure how I was going to fix it, but I was hoping I had something, and either way, it didn't happen. He took on e2. Rook takes, rook d3. I played queen c2. Originally, I thought I would have to go queen c1. I want to cover the d1 square. I thought queen c1 was maybe necessary because of e3, but then I realized on queen c2, e3, I could take it, and so I decided, I'll at least allow that to be sort of maybe a little trick in the position. Also, at this point, I only have 4 minutes, I want to say. I play a couple moves here on 7 seconds, but we'll get to those. So queen d5 I thought was a very strong move. I play rook e1 with 7 seconds. Uh, Queen here, I have to like... There's a 30-second delay, so it's not like I have only 7 seconds. Like I'm playing moves instantly. I have 30-second delay, but once you have 7 seconds, like you can't even let your 30-second delay expire because then you start losing like the last of your 7 seconds. You just have to play. I play queen e2, rook d2. It's like, oh my god, I have to play this move. He takes here, and my 40th move, I just take this thing. Oh my god. Here, can I... Yeah, I can't do it here because there's mate. So queen e3 first, queen takes, take on e4. And he plays rook takes f2, and I ask if I can go to the bathroom because we just made move 40, even though it's my turn. And I do. And as I'm in the bathroom, I'm like, I really hope when I get back, I'm not just completely lost. Because it's really likely that oh my god. But I did see that after king g1, like there's no check. And like it's kind of weird because I have suddenly like my queen and rook are very active and his king is a little bit weak. So I was sort of thinking like maybe there's a chance here. Rook takes h2, and I come back and I'm looking at stuff and I realize pretty quickly that okay, yeah, this is like it's interesting a little bit, but like probably like I don't really have anything like there's nothing objectively there for me. But I play rook f1 because it does threaten to win the game, right? Queen e8 is like a winning threat now. And it's like he doesn't really have a way to defend that with the queen or rook, the pawn at least. He can't defend the e8 square with the queen either because the rook will hang. He sort of has this rook is like a weird liability at this point. And queen e2, after queen d5, I think he's lost, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like queen e2, you think, okay, I got you. You're the king can't move. But then after queen d5, you realize, okay, my pawn's attacked, and I can't move my queen back to defend because my rook will hang. And the only check I have hangs my rook too. And what do I do? And you sort of realize, like, oh, I'm just lost. I think. I'm not totally sure, but I'm pretty sure this is like winning for white. So the only move in this position, I think, is rook e2, which he finds because it's the only move. I play queen d5, but I see this maneuver queen b6 to c6, and he plays it. So queen b6, I have to play king h1, queen c6, and I really considered resigning here. I mean, like, pretty seriously, I considered, what am I supposed to do? It's just over. But, you know, you got to play on a little bit. No harm. Takes. I see here that if I play rook f6, then there's rook e6, and then I can resign. So I play rook c1. He plays rook e3. I take. He takes. I take, and then he takes on g3. Uh, here he should. I don't think he should take on g3. He should just win with this a pawn. I mean, maybe, probably even in this position with rook e3, he should just play rook e6. But then I was gonna play like rook c5, rook a5, and hope I could like do something with this a pawn. But I'm down 3 pawns, right? So I'm completely lost. And what he did is not terrible. You know, he does this. Now I have rook a6, and I get to win one of the pawns. But it's 2 connected pawns. You know, this is like more than enough to win. King g6, king h2. We can just go through this relatively quickly because it's just, you know, he's just pushing pawns. And I plays f3 check, which is the sort of the first step in the wrong direction. Really what you want to do in these positions is like get the rook out, and then, you know, eventually you can play f3, but first just like it's sort of a strange setup. You're sort of asking for issues when you do something like this. F3 might be the best move, but it's just like systematically in this sort of thing. Like, you know, now I can maybe start to do some check. I play king g1, king g3. Now this would be a trick, right? If I play rook g2 check, if he takes it, it's stalemate. But I didn't want to alert him to the danger of the position at this point. I was sort of like, you know, maybe I can get myself into a stalemate where like I have a mad rook, and that's how I hold. That's sort of what I was thinking. But then I play rook b2, just sort of waiting. f2 check. And, you know, if I don't take it, then it's just it becomes a queen. I take it, rook h1, takes, king h2, only move. And here he very quickly plays g4, and I play king h1. And you know, it's stalemate if you play g3, and he sees that. And here he starts to think, it's not like the easiest thing to win this. It's not like, you know, you think like, okay, if I play king g3, then king g1, and then my opponent gets opposition. And if I play g3, stalemate. If I play king f1, king h2, and then, you know, I just have to go back. King f3, king. I play king h2, and then if you know what do you do to make progress there other than g3 and g3? That's how the game went. King f3, king h2, g3, king h1. Very important move. This is a draw now. If g2, king g1, and if any other move, king g2, or, you know, if king f2, it's stalemate immediately. So king g2 will be played unless you play g2 or stalemate me, and on g2, king g1, king g3, and it's draw. So this is a draw now. In this position, my opponent needed to play king g3 and allow me to take opposition because, as you might know, if you know your king and pawn games, if you have the king in front of the pawn on the 6th rank It does not matter if you or your opponent has the opposition. It's always winning. So king g3, king g1, doesn't matter. You can go king h3, king h1, g3, king g1, g2, and I have to get out, and you can win. So he was winning up until even g4 is winning, king h1. Right here, even when he played king f3, king h2, he can just repeat and it's still winning. Right here, still winning. G3 he played, and that threw the game away. It's very unfortunate blunder. You know, he sort of dances around. It would be annoying if you dance around normally, but I allowed it because I could understand that it's a very emotionally difficult thing to be so winning and end up drawing the game. So I was not going to say anything or act like annoyed that he was sort of messing around with the king, spending a lot of time. It was fine. You know, I was just happy to have the draw, and I understood what he was going through because I've been on the other side of this sort of thing in the past. So yeah, that was that game. We can take a look at it. I am sort of curious about it with the machine. So yeah, so here c takes d5 is the most challenging move. Takes queen a4 check. I vaguely knew that this was the thing to do. And now here, yeah, queen takes d5 I should play. I was just getting so scared of this compensation. So I played knight f3. Position is now equal. I wonder if anyone's ever played this. 101 games been played. Interesting. Second most common move. Kind of weird. Knight c6, and then yeah, queen d1 has actually been played in 32 games. Let's see, what do we get? Knight f6. How far do we go? We don't get very far. e3. But bishop b4 is the most played move here in the master database, and it's the best move. So that's an interesting little thing to know. Bishop b4 is the only move for black to be better. I would not have guessed that. I just played bishop d2. Castles, bishop e2. So actually there's some games here. That's very interesting. Queen e7 is a strange move. I bet that one hasn't been played. 2 games. Top two, the most played move in the position. Black won both games. So my opponent knows something. Is rook fd8? Rook a8. And a6. Black won these 2 games. Rook a8. Okay, but rook fd8 is a good move. That's sort of what I felt. I felt like these moves, bishop b4, queen e7, rook fd8, very strange, but not bad. It's just a very strange thing. So knight b5 is correct. Bishop c5 is correct, that's the move I was concerned by. It felt like he could probably, like, this is a little bit annoying for me too. I was just gonna go back to d1, but it felt like this was what I was hoping for. Bishop c5, knight. So this move is not necessary. I should start with bishop c3. I was sort of feeling that after I played this move and he played knight e4. I sort of felt like I was now worse. I mean, I thought I was a little bit worse before, but I really started to feel it here. a3 probably a little bit slow. Bishop back to d6, prophylactic move, very nice move. And so yeah, here, yeah, rook c1, knight back to b5, even being listed, bishop e1. It just felt like all these moves, like you never know, like b4 is, for example, it felt like something that could be the right move, but it's just not. Black is now significantly better. In fact, black is about the same, much better. Actually, no, g3 is just bad after bishop h3 is -1. But this also not so good for black. Or not so good for white, I mean. So I need to play like rook c1 or knight b5, but it's just such a hard position, and it felt like what happens if here bishop b8? How bad is this? Now rook c1. Yeah, I should just develop and not be too worried about the attack, but like I was just scared. Like on rook c1, what if g5? These sorts of things I was concerned by. Takes, b takes, and yeah, bishop a5 move was not on my radar. Bishop b4 move, sacrificing a pawn. I guess I can consider that. If bishop e1 though, like this sort of thing is like very scary. But it's fine, I guess. Shouldn't be concerned. Anyway, g3 is not a great move, but not losing, just better for black. Rook e1, queen f6, good move. Bishop c3. Knight e5 felt like the correct move. It felt like any queen move is just like I'm getting out of the woods, which is sort of correct. Queen, let's just look at this one too. Yeah, fine. Knight e5 felt like the correct move. He plays it. Knight b5 is like the only try. Bishop b8, bishop d4 maneuver is good. G5, yeah, maybe not the most accurate. My opponent after the game actually said maybe G5 wasn't correct. I said I was worried about it, but it's possible it wasn't right. Knight C3, just have to close your eyes and play the move and hope that none of this stuff works. Yeah, I was thinking here, King F2, G4, and I was just saying, what if I just like develop? I can take this actually. Takes, takes, Knight takes D5. Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard to be able to do something like this. Just walking into this pin, but I guess it's just fine. So my opponent evaluated it correctly as not being good for him to do, and I evaluated it correctly as I need to just allow it and hope for the best. So queen of 5 is the best move. And now, yeah, I should play knight takes e4. I don't know why I decided that I needed to trade both sets of minor pieces, but I did this, and then this, and knight d4, and queen f6 is good. And yeah, I guess bishop g4 is somehow working out, because here I take this. This is what I was worried about, though. Like, rook, or no, I was worried about this. Or no, what was I worried about? Oh yeah, rook takes, queen e2, bishop g4, queen, and then e3s. This is what I was worried about. But I have to move f4 here, which yeah, if I see f4, I probably do go for this because that's probably we're gonna get into a rook endgame, and this pawn, if I can collect it, it's very close to my king. If I can collect it, it's very nice. So probably I go for it then, but I didn't see it, so I play bishop f1. Takes. I play king takes, which is not good. Takes, 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 queen. Now I'm lost. And probably it's because of many things, but probably queen b5 move soon is just going to end the game. Wait, here? What about here? Oh, rook d1 check first. King g2, rook c8 there. Ooh. Yeah, that would have been pretty bad. What about this move though? Queen b3 I can play. Yeah, I was hoping I would have something like this. But yeah, rook d1 check followed by rook c8 is really strong. I didn't see that, neither did he. That's lucky. Takes here, queen c2, here, rook e1. Yeah, e3 would have been really strong here. Now I have queen c8, queen takes b7. I could grab this thing actually. Kind of amazing. Instead, this move is a blunder. Queen e3, queen takes, king g1, rook takes h2. Yeah, rook e2 only move, but it exists. So he found it. Good for him. Queen d5. He gets this endgame. And then, yeah, this is just completely winning the whole way. Many, many moves. Every move wins at this point. And then we get to here where, yeah, here f2 check was chosen, which is technically the best way to do it. It does simplify things. But now, you have to be a little bit careful. g4, king h1. And now, yeah, king g3 is the correct way to go. This move doesn't throw it away, but now you need to go back. And instead, g3. And after king h1, very important to save that tempo, we draw the game very easily because we understand the king pawn endgame. And yeah, pretty interesting game. Maybe my most interesting game of this tournament because it was just like it was topsy-turvy, but also my opponent played very well in the opening and middle game. I was definitely getting outplayed. He just missed something in like the late end game. He also missed something in the time scramble. That rook c8 idea would have ended the game much quicker in his favor. So things missed, but overall, I would say reasonable quality game up until the very end when my opponent let go his win and I was able to come back from the dead and save a draw. So that was round 4. We're having a pretty good tournament so far. We have 3 draws, 1 loss, and we're going into the last round with high hopes. So yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the last round, and I'll see you in that one.